Welcome to this Further Education Support Service video providing a quick tour of our website. The website can be accessed by going to www.fess.ie in your web browser. At the top of the page there are 5 tabs with drop-down menus which provide links to the pages on the website. The About tab has a link to the sitemap, which is useful if you know exactly what topic you are looking for, and the FESS Support Officer contact details are also available here. We will now give a look at the Resource Library tab, which has been used extensively during the past year and provides links to many different resources. For example, module-specific resources developed for FESS by practitioners, teachers, tutors and trainers, newly developed e-portfolio resources using platforms such as OneNote and Google Sites, remote teaching and learning resources, and if we click on this link, we will see links to resources which support blended learning, programme delivery, assessment, etc. FESS worked with ETBI and some ETBs in the development of referencing and writing handbooks for the FET sector, and those handbooks are available by clicking on this Referencing and Writing Resources link. The Professional Development tab provides access to the current PD calendar, where you can find information on upcoming events and register for those events using the register link provided. The Autumn 2021 calendar will be available in late June. If we scroll down, we can see a list there of the current calendar of events, and if we click on one of those, we can see the register button where we can sign up for the selected event. There's also a link in there to e-college courses, which is useful for providing further PD opportunities to staff. If we scroll down further down the page, we have a new to FET section, and this page provides key information to those working in further education and training environment for the first time. There are links to various documents, resources and other useful information in here. If we scroll down a little further, we can also see the news section where all the latest announcements can be found on upcoming professional development events, etc. Over on the left hand side then, we have access to the Twitter feed, and this is a very useful way of keeping up to date with current news and events within the sector. I hope you enjoy using the website. Thank you.
To this presentation with the Further Education Support Service. My name is Michael Hallissy. I'm from H2 Learning, and I am delighted to be joined today by Finola Butler and Mary Sheehy. H2 has had the privilege of working very closely with FESS over the last 18 months on a number of activities in the area of emergency remote teaching. Before I do that, Finola, would you introduce yourself, and Mary, you might do the same then afterwards, and we'll get the show on the road.
Okay, Michael. Well, look, as you said, my name is Finola Butler, and I am working with Further Education Support Service, more commonly known, I think, out there as FESS. Everybody talks about FESS, FESS, FESS all the time. I'm based in the Dublin office. My colleague Mary Sheehy is also here today, and she's based in the Wicklow office. We've both been working with FESS for a number of years, I suppose, and to tell you the truth, the last 15 months, we actually haven't seen anything like it before. There has been no time like it. So we've 3 other support officers also working with FESS, located in different regions around the country as well. We're funded by Solace, and each of the 5 offices then will be housed within a particular ETB around the country.
I suppose we're going to get into this in a bit more detail. Mary, do you want to say a little quick word to everybody? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Mary Sheehy, and I'm based in the Wicklow office. And as Finola said, it's been a bit of a whirlwind of 15 months adapting to the new ways of doing things. So yeah, we'll just fill you in through this presentation on different things we've done through the year or so.
I think it's interesting. I know we've discussed this on many occasions. I think, you know, and we're all now starting to think about post-COVID Lacuna Day, when we're all able to go back into our centre, you know, face to face, in person. But I think these videos will probably have a role in what you do going forward, because, you know, I think the more examples that we have of practice, and there has been some fantastic practice across the FET sector, the more that we have those for people to engage with, they then open up other discussions, and they're ultimately, these things are, they're brilliant professional development tools. But I'm just conscious of time, and I'm just going to throw it open. I don't know who's going to answer this first, but you know, I think, as I said, you have done an amazing amount of work over the last 15 months, and you're not finished yet, as the man says. But looking forward, and you know, on the Teach Nimble, we have a slide where we have BC before COVID, DC during COVID, and AC after COVID. Somebody said to me recently, you got the AC/DC in there, Michael. But after COVID, where are you going next, and what are your thoughts on this whole area now as you look back over the last while and look to the future?
Okay, I'll jump in here. Mary, you might want to say something at the end, because I'm sure I might leave something out. But I suppose, first of all, look, we've learned a hell of a lot. That's the first thing to say about the last 15 months. I mean, we might have been tearing our hair out learning a lot of it, and stressed about the amount of work we had, but it was a huge learning process for us all. And I think, you know, we've all had to embrace the use of technology to support us in carrying out our roles, whether we are working for FESS, whether we're out there in the broader FET staff cohort of people. We've had to do it. I believe that much of the learning gained during the pandemic in embracing that use of technology, whether it be by us in FESS or the FET staff, I think will continue to be of value into the future. I think we'll be able to take a lot of it with us, whether we're back in that face-to-face or in a real planned blended learning environment, because I would imagine there will be a number of different centres now looking to work, whether it's within the ETB or whatever provider. They will be looking to see, are we going to plan blended learning now under the QQI guidelines here, under our own policy and our structures and procedures? Are we going to do that? But I think all of the different methodologies, the tools, all of those will be of value and will contribute to how we're going to do that. I suppose in FESS, we're already thinking about what our support is going to look like into the future. We are all aware that there's a strong desire to get back to seeing each other again. And I mean, actually seeing each other again, face to face, real life, not on Zoom. And we look forward to being able to offer true face-to-face experience as part of our future plans. However, we are already thinking of how the way in which we've engaged with people face-to-face might change a bit. We're looking maybe at creating materials that participants could engage with in their own time prior to coming to face-to-face sessions. The flipped classroom model, you know, the asynchronous model that we used ourselves in the reimagining courses, give them material to come, to read, to learn, and then come to the sessions, and then we can use the sessions maybe for more lively debate or collaboration, or maybe producing a product, who knows. And we would also envisage the continued use of the clinic model, because I think in some ways the standalone one-day events that we had maybe in Athlone or Portlaoise or wherever it was around the country, they were really useful. But sometimes what was missing is people went back and then they'd nowhere to go if they wanted to come back and share what they did, or question or query and find out what worked well for others. So we're kind of looking at ways in which we might supplement what we do with that clinic model, because as Mary said, we were new to it this year, but actually, you know, we've really embraced it, and I think the sector has embraced it. So I would see how we do our work actually might change a bit as well. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah. No.
I think actually we all need to be open to reimagining and recreating what we do anyway, to keep it good, I suppose, and meaningful. And we need to capture what we've learned and bring it with us into the future, I think. So I don't know, Mary, if I've left anything out there.
No, I think you pretty much covered everything, but we've had discussions in the clinics about some of the digital tools and how they can be used in the face-to-face classroom. So
Yes.
I think people were kind of surprised at that. It was almost like in our heads, it was either one or the other. But, you know, I think that there'll be a lot of learning that has come out of this that can certainly be brought into the future with us.
Yeah, Mary, and I think that's an important point to finish on. I mean, I know in some of the work I've been doing myself of late, we've been looking at this with other ETBs around low impact blend, medium impact blend, and high impact blend. And that low impact blend could be just using a Kahoot in a face-to-face centre setting. And again, a lot of this, as you've said, you know, it provided people with an opportunity to really use technology. They may have not had a reason to use it before March 2020, but now they've used it. And you know what? The feedback, and I've seen it from a number of ETBs and other organisations that are working in the FET sector, is that, you know, this works. And particularly on the assessment side, Finola, that you talked about there, you know, colleague once said to me, you know, digital tools can actually make the invisible visible. You know, what's in your head, how did people understand something? So I think, you know, you talked about there about the best of both worlds, and I think that's where we all should be now. Looking forward, I can't wait myself to get back into a room with people and we have a chat and a cup of coffee and all those good things. But I think your point is well made, that sometimes the one-off, some people call them the drive-by workshop, you know, you leave with it on the drive home in the car, you've actually more questions after the event that you probably got answered during it. So that's why these kind of blended FESS events going forward will actually be a huge benefit. And, you know, it also, I think the clinics will allow you to draw in, you know, the network of experts that you have out there, from Kerry all the way to Donegal and all the way over to Wexford and Waterford, you know, so that you've all that network and that you can do that online and you'll mix it up. And again, I'm sure that that patchwork quilt that we've talked about will continue to add new patches as we go.
Yes.
So
yes.
I leave it to
Michael,
you to have the last word. Finola.
Yeah, just to say maybe that a lot of the information, you know, and everything we've talked about today is on our website. So it's www.fess.ie for those who don't know it. So just keep an eye on that. But I think today maybe it's important to maybe end the session by providing you all with a flavour of some of the feedback from the participants who availed of that lovely suite of supports and resources that we've just spoken about during this session.
Thanks a million, Finola, and thank you, Mary. It's been a real pleasure, as always, to chat to you both, and continued success in the further education support service in the year ahead. Thank you both.